Hello. So nice. Absolutely.
You look fabulous.
I feel wonderful. You look gorgeous. Hello.
Good to go? Right here?
Yeah? Okay, great.
Naughty with a big old belt, and I am joined by Miss Peppermint from RuPaul.
Hello. Hi, everyone.
You look fabulous. Absolutely fabulous. I love those glasses.
Thank you so much. I feel very, very studious today.
So you play a very, very interesting character. So Mark asks people to be on his YouTube channel, and you play an anger management coach?
Yeah, I play an anger management coach who wasn't necessarily aware of the whole YouTube fame thing. It really is someone who, an anger management coach with some questionable techniques and tactics. Let's just say that. And so, but Mark is in need of an anger management coach, but I don't know if Daffy's the right one. I guess we'll have to see in season 2.
What is there anything you can share with us about your character and how you got into this role?
Yeah, I mean, quite literally, this is a project that Linus and Jocelyn were speaking about in different ways over many, many months and almost a couple of years since before the pandemic. And I think it really started, the two characters, Marque and Hector, started as a sort of joke character that they were doing online, and I would see them in their stories that they were posting, and they were traveling the world as these characters. And it wasn't until later on that Jocelyn told me that they were writing a script and wanted to include me somehow, and so they came up with Daffy, the anger management coach. And I do think it kind of fits. It fits. I could be. I'm trusting, trustworthy, whatever.
And you wear many, many shoes. So you're an activist. You're a drag queen. You're a singer-songwriter. You've done so many different things. I guess, what advice do you have for people that are trying to get into this world?
Trying to get into the world of entertainment. I really do think it's two things that are going to be might be difficult to do, because I think when we see entertainment, one of the things we want to do is we look at what everyone else has, and then we say, okay, I want to do that, I want to do that. And being inspired is a really important part of life, I guess. But as an entertainer, I do think it's really important not to sound so cliche, but to find the thing that makes you so unique. The one thing, a lot of times it's the thing you got made fun of in school, or something that sets you apart, a talent, whatever, something that you can cultivate that you know that other people aren't doing, because that'll give you an edge. Yes, it's important to do all the same things that folks are doing. Like, you want to be able to, if you're going to be a dancer, you need to learn the moves that they're going to teach. But then also have an edge that you can bring to it yourself. And then the other thing is the perseverance. It's really, being in entertainment is definitely a world of rejection. And so being used to being told no and really setting your expectations quite low, while at the same time understanding your value is really important. But I do think that since we're in the age that we're in, despite all of the stuff that we're reading about currently and the sort of current political climate, I think this is a great time to be a woman, a person of color, a queer person in the world, but in the United States. Although there are times where we're tested, because I think people are listening to us in a way that they weren't before. And so I'm grateful for that. And so if you are one of those identities or a different identity, if you're in entertainment and if you're interested in getting into entertainment, this might be a good time to do it.
And it's really important to support projects like this, because that's how more of them come about.
Absolutely. I love Linus and Jocelyn, and I would be here no matter what. I didn't even ask questions, as long as it worked with my schedule, which does get busy from time to time. I was like, I'll be there. Let's do it. Whatever. Yeah, let's go. And so I think that's really important, that we have to support queer art. We have to support art support art in general. And hopefully if it's good art, it will be inclusive in a way, or inclusive of different types of stories. And this has a lot of those things, and it does it with comedy, and that's the best part.
Yeah, like Linus was saying how it's important, telling these stories properly, the right people are telling the stories, and then making the jokes that are not offensive, but can be fun, within the community.
I think that's one thing that we have to, I think because of the way sensitivity goes and the way that being politically correct has played out. I think a lot of people were really afraid to even mention women or trans folks or people of color in their humor or in their conversation for fear of being labeled a bigot or something like that. But the truth is, there is a way to joke about these things and have humor. We're human, and we laugh, and we laugh at ourselves, and we experience all the same joys and pains and traumas that everybody else does. And even though there may be a different flavor here or there, it's universal. And so knowing that, it is very possible to have an entire comedy show that pokes fun at gender and sexuality and race and age and the culture without being vicious,
And then you also are very focused on activism. How does that play a part in the roles that you take?
Well, I do think that the activism that I've been involved in, and really, I don't necessarily consider myself an activist. I don't do it full time. I do it because I love our community. But in terms of the art that I try to connect myself to, it's really important that, given that I'm not a spring chicken, and so the stuff that I was seeing that was supposed to be considered inclusive years ago was quite offensive, and I knew it then, but that was the best we had, and we're like, well, this is the only one we're gonna have, so we might as well, and it was light years from where we are now. And so knowing that, I do think someone, when they have the ability to, asserting themselves and asserting the sort of the notion of authenticity and truth in storytelling is really important. And I think it's totally possible to have art as activism and activism as art. And so that's what I try to do.
Yes, thank you so much, Ms. Peppermint.
A pleasure. Thank you.
Enjoy.
Absolutely, sure. 1, 2, 3. Okay, thank you.